hike to the tallest point in England with me as someone on Mounjaro. Hello everyone, yes, this week I indeed had my 40th birthday, which meant not only a party and a shindig, but it also meant my other half took us to the Lake District. Do you think there was relaxing in a hot tub? Do you think there was just sitting in cafes? No, there was hiking up the tallest point in England, Scafell Pike. And of course I took you all with me, so let's get into it. Hello everyone, if you're just joining me for the first time, my name is Lauren, or Laurent, some people might like to call me. I have been on Mounjaro now since March 2025. I've lost 4 stone on Mounjaro, I lost 4 stone previous to Mounjaro, so I'm currently at an 8 stone loss. And here I am, back in my family home in Norfolk, so it's not my new usual abode, and you can see it's a little bit shaky on the camera because I'm having to hold it. I don't have my selfie stick, I don't have my ring light. What kind of a setup is this? A shambles is what it is. But I couldn't leave you waiting too much longer, so here we are. So before I show you some footage of the walking up, not only Scafell Pike, but also Loughrigg Fell, which is in the Lake District, stunning. Before I show you some of that footage, let me tell you about how the last couple of weeks has been. So, it was my 40th birthday. It was Lake District, and I'm now back home in Norfolk because it's just been Easter. Safe to say, I've had a lovely time, and I am going to do a separate video about what has happened in these past couple of weeks, because I have come off Mounjaro whilst I've been having the merriment, should we say. I'll do a whole little separate video about that. So please do give me a like, give me a subscribe if you want to see some more videos like that. But why the Lake District? I mean, why not? It's stunning. Let me know in the comments below if you've been there and what you did. So we stayed in Ambleside in a gorgeous little, if I can put it in pictures I will, in a gorgeous little shoebox of a house. It's charming, isn't it? It's part of the Lake District to stay in those little stone houses. It was gorgeous. Had everything we needed, just had a little front room. You literally walked in the front door, couch, stairs, or more of a rope ladder to upstairs, which had literally the double bed and a wet room. I don't know how I feel about a wet room. It's a toilet and a shower. So if you shower, the toilet seat has then got wet. I get frustrated when I get a damp ass. So you can imagine my frustration at times. Also, if you've just showered and then you need to go back in, I want to get me a wet sock. And I wasn't allowed a shoe upstairs, so I had to place a towel down. It was a whole thing. You can imagine my annoyance. Anyway, other than that, it was a lovely little home to be in whilst we were there. And we were there for 3 nights, 2 main days, 3 nights. So when we travelled down from where we are, it took me about 4.5 hours to drive there, and I was the designated driver. Strap in, folks. So it took us about 4.5 hours to get there. Quite straightforward, considering we went up there on a Good Friday. No, that's when we came back. We were travelling up in half term, on the Tuesday of half term, just after the bank holiday. And the roads were actually quite fine. And like I say, we drove up there, stayed in Ambleside, and went straight out to see Windermere Lake. It wasn't in Windermere, it was just ahead of that. So we were on the Windermere Lake by a lovely little pub, decided to have a nice little hot chocolate and just sit and just be at peace, which was absolutely lovely. And then we headed back into Ambleside again, had some lovely food at I think it's called the Flying Fleece, the Fleecy Flying Fleece. We had some lovely food there. A random man walked up to us and said he'd taken our picture earlier because he said he liked the symmetry. Thank you, Gordon. But anyway, that was lovely. And then back home, because the next day we got up quite early and headed to Loughrigg Fell. So to go up Loughrigg Fell, that was actually quite near where we were staying. So we were able to walk it from where we were, from Ambleside. That was a gorgeous little walk. And again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut to some footage of us going to Loughrigg Fell right now. So not only do we so many words, not only do we do Loughrigg Fell, you'll also see us going into Rydell Cave. Now, I was the only one that would go into it. Paul's got a funny thing about stepping stones. He gets nervous about falling in. So I went in a little bit, and that's a footage that you're going to see now. So let me know in the comments below your thoughts. Here we go, Loughrigg Fell. Just listen to this noise. It's That was stunning. And then that evening that's what we did. We decided to just go to Tesco, get ourselves some nice seeded bread, got ourselves some beans, had beans on toast with a little bit of cheese. It was absolutely gorgeous. I also had some cookies left over from my birthday, so we had those as well. You can see why I might have had that weight gain that week. It was a lovely way to get some carby fuel, get some fibre in us, and have a nice night's sleep. Slept like a log after that nice walk and got up nice and early. I think I got up at 5 o'clock, 5:30 maybe, to start the trek to Scafell Pike. So again, I was driving us there. It was a nice drive. The sun was rising. It was a lovely drive there, about an hour and a half from where we were. Parked up. So if you're thinking about going at all, there is a lovely good parking area there. So you can park up. You can then pay for the day. Park there. So we have free reign for the day. And again, just make sure you're prepared. A lot of people you hear go to Scafell Pike and they think it's something like Loughrigg Fell, like more like a big hill. And it is actually extremely intense. So make sure you've got layers on, because at the bottom, it might feel quite warm. At the top, it really wasn't. I mean, I know it was no Ben Nevis, but it's one of the highest peaks. It is the highest point in England, and it is one of the top 3 peaks. It sits there with Scafell Pike, Snowdon and Ben Nevis. So she is a beast. And you did see people going up there that didn't look prepared. They were there, they just didn't look prepared. They could have had lots of layers in their bags, but I don't think they did. I was worried for them. I thought, do you have enough sandwiches? At one point, you'll see I had my gloves, my hat, my scarf on. The next minute, I took it right off. Next minute, when I was getting to the top, it all went back on again, and I had to wear it the whole way down. So really make sure you're prepared with layers. If I was doing it again, I would have hiking sticks as well, and you'll see why in some of the footage. It was a lot harder than I ever expected. It was my first real encounter of a proper full-on, felt like a mountain. I know it's not, but it felt like it. It was absolutely incredible. So I'm going to leave you to have a little look at some of the footage now.
You must join us this evening.
Nothing brings us together like
Consequences.
So we are starting our ascent of Scafell Pike. So yesterday we did Loughrigg Fell, which was great. Look how gorgeous this is. And today we're doing Scafell Pike. So we're going up one of these somewhere. Apologies to my terrible geography. Got a D in that. Anyway, sheep. So what's nice is that before the old Mounjaro, I would never have even dreamed about doing this. Wouldn't have dreamed it. And obviously, for those of you that know me quite well, I lost 4 stone before Mounjaro and then 4 stone after it. 4 stone on it, should I say. And having an 8 stone loss has just changed my life in terms of my fitness level. Being able to enjoy things like this wouldn't have been an enjoyable thing. That would have been a worrying thing. Although I love views, I love walking, I love being in nature, it would have been a scary prospect and something I just really would not have been able to do. So that's what it really means in terms of the fact that it can be completely life-changing, having that tool to live life to the fullest. Put our own effort in, absolutely, and it's ignorance to think that we don't put our own effort in, because those that don't obviously will have their shortfall. But yes, all in all, absolutely changed my life, best thing I ever did. So let's continue our ascent, and I'll speak whenever I can and take you along the way. But for now, that's me. We made a good headway up now. Still got a very long way to go. There he is, having a moment. It's quite nice because you keep passing people along the way. So like our little friends down there. So this bit, it's a bit like Mars. This is the terrain that makes it quite difficult. So if you're wanting to come to do this, just make sure you've got good, strong, grippy shoe. There's some bits where you kind of have small little water crossings. One's a bit more of a water crossing. I made a right pig through that. Just make sure you've got some good shoes, lots of food, lots of water, and warm layers.
We're there. Steady balance.
I thought she was going to go there. You're going to get this side.
Well done.
So I'm on my way down. I've got a very sore knee. Oh, I've got a very sore knee. Look at this waterfall though. But everyone's so lovely going up and down. Everyone's saying, oh, how far are we? Are we halfway? I was like, no, you're not. But yeah, I'll do us a full recap of how this walk went when I get home. And when we're finished our Lake District trip in general. But I've loved it. I've enjoyed it. I'm so glad we're doing it. Obviously, I've still got to get down the rest of this with my sore little knee and cross the river crossing, which was interesting. Don't ask every tit in. But no, what a blessed, gorgeous day we've had for it. I know you can see all that mist at the top of the mountain now. Mountain peak. So yeah, we'll catch up later.
Do it. Come here. That's it. Well done. And then just... and then across. Huh? Oh well. Don't done. You're nearly in the back. You're nearly here.
move. To say my calves were louping at the end of that is an understatement. Now, I've got a slight knee twinge. I'm not going to lie to anyone when I say that. And that was hurting a lot on the way down. You saw me say that. It was really hurting on the way down. Who else is going to get you down? I mean, at one point, I thought mountain rescue. But it was very steep at the top. You know, there was areas where it got really, really steep to get up. And then it would flatten out. You thought, okay, this will be all right if this carries on like this to the top. And then it would change again and get very moon-like. I'm really conscious about where I was stepping. So I would step really carefully. And then someone would just jog on past me, and I was like, how are you not being careful of your footing? You're aware of an ankle issue. Once I was up, my worry was, how the hell am I getting down? And obviously you do. I was like, I'm going down on the bump. I'm scooting down. So I took it slow and steady. And again, like I said, when I was getting to that one point where you saw it, it was really sore on that knee. But everyone is so supportive, and everyone is aware that coming down is probably worse than going up, because the amount of people we passed when we were coming down that were going, oh, you know, I don't envy you coming down. I'm a bit nervous about the coming down side of it. A lot of people were passing us on the way up, saying, oh, we were halfway there yet. We didn't have the heart to say, no, Janice, no, you're not. And I'm glad we started at the time we did. So we set off quite early. I think we ended up setting off at about 8:30. It wasn't as early as we wanted to, but we had to top up our petrol. Petrol stations didn't open till 7. That's another thing to be aware of. They're not all 24-hour ones. So we had to wait until 7 to top up the petrol. Got there more like 8:30 and then set off. When originally our plan was to leave at 6 and get there for about 7:30. But we were still one of the first hikers going up there. So that is one of my key tips as well, because it was nice and calm on the way up, and on the way down, you could see more flurries of people coming in. Let me know in the comments below if that's something you're considering doing. We will definitely do Snowdon this year at some point, and we will do Ben Nevis at some point as well. Whether it's this year or not is another thing. I do need to make sure that that knee is okay and supported the best it can be, especially if I'm doing something like that. Make sure your shoes are grippy if you're going to do it, because it is very slippy and it suddenly gets extremely icy at the top there. I saw a stalactite. But it was thoroughly an enjoyable experience, and I'm so glad we did it. That night we went home, we had a good old fish and chips, well deserved after that. And then we had a nice long 5-hour drive home the next day, after a full English breakfast in Windermere, I will say. And we got some beautiful glass ornaments there was a little glass ornament shop nearby. So rather than getting some of the classic, I want to say more tacky ornaments, we went in there and got some really lovely pieces. Anyway, that's it for this one. Like I say, I'm going to be creating another video about what happened when I stopped for that 2 weeks on Mounjaro, how it's impacted me, and what I'm doing now to get back on track. Give us a little like, give us a follow. That way you'll be able to see when the next video is released, and we'll go from there. I hope you're all doing absolutely gorgeous. Have a gorgeous week, whatever you're doing, and I'll catch you very soon. Goodbye, Munchers.